Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order Christmas Came Early Edition. What a night in the Horseshoe. Was festive, was amazing. Was able to have a little bit of a family Christmas get together, which was awesome. So I know you guys missed us, and we definitely missed you guys. So we're going to have a huge show tonight because you guys make it a great show each and every night. So we appreciate you guys. But what a night by Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Horseshoe. Electric atmosphere. And we got to smash an SEC school in December. About as good of a Christmas gift as you can get. And what do you get as an encore? Revenge versus the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl. This is going to be a game that I've been pointing to for a while. We lost to these guys. I thought that losing would give us a little bit of an edge coming into this game. We are favored in this game. I think Will Howard is going to play out of his mind in this game, and our defense is just absolutely on fire. So we're going to get into all that. As always, if you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, take care of our sponsors, Twin Peaks, Buffalo Wild Wings. They've been awesome. Great places to watch the games. Great gift card ideas for you guys as you head into the stretch before Christmas. Take care of our sponsors. They're awesome. Great people work there. Shout out to the management, Corey and the crew last night. They were awesome. Just appreciate, they're always on point. And the game day atmospheres are always awesome. They're great carry out stuff as well. So take care of them as you head into Christmas. Keep them in mind if you guys need carry out. But again, we just appreciate all your support. This is going to be the biggest month in the history of Buckeye Scoop. Thanks to you guys. Also, if you guys want a great last minute Christmas gift, a concierge membership to BuckeyeScoop.com gives you 24-hour access to Nevadabuck and I all the time on the message board. It is an absolute blast to be on it. Love for you guys to join the Scoop family in that way. It's a great gift. If you guys have any questions on gifts, hit us up, buckeyescoop@gmail.com for any questions and concerns. We can help you out quickly. So again, we've been turning a lot of new members are joining the family, and it's awesome seeing all you guys on there. A lot of you guys have converted from being in the chat here and going onto the message board, and it's just an amazing experience. So I appreciate all of you guys to do that. If you guys want to do something huge for us, also give us a quick follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Again, those are our two main sources for our regular show, our non-video show, but we're growing them, and it's all thanks to you guys, so we appreciate that. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in a man who is in the building. You guys could hear him shake the room when he walked in, and he was up to his ears in hot chocolate. Nevadabuck is in the building. Nevada, was it loud last night? Is it different to have a night game versus a noon game in the Horseshoe?
Yeah, it was crazy. As you can tell, the Nevadabuck voice is a little frazzled today because Nevadabuck was in full throat last night, and what a night! I mean, what a night! The Tennessee fans, as we talked about, I'd have some people were going crazy. Going, oh, it's 40%. Oh, it's 50%. No, it was about 20%. I think the official numbers from Ticketmaster, from my Ticketmaster guy, was right around 22,000 tickets that went to in zip codes within the state of Tennessee. So I think it's a pretty solid number. But despite that, so say 20%, 25% Tennessee fans, the 75% that were Ohio State fans were awesome last night. I mean, everybody was standing, everybody was yelling, everybody was going crazy. It was a rock concert type of environment. I thought the show was good. I mean, I really do. I want to give credit to Ohio State. I mean, it was rocking the whole night, and it was fun. It was festive. What a great performance! Truly memorable. If you missed it, you missed it. I'm telling you. And if you sold your tickets because you wanted to, while I respect that, man, you missed on a life experience that I'm not going to forget. And I've been to a lot of things, and I'm not saying this was the best thing I've ever been, but it's it's in the top 10. I mean, it was that memorable, just the whole thing, the whole setup, and then the team comes out and plays the way that the game plan really went. If you looked at my pregame game plan prediction, it really went pretty much the form. They really pretty much followed the game plan. They told the team they were going to be aggressive, and they went up for it on 4th and 4. And I'm sure a lot of people almost fell out of the chair when they did that. They found really innovative ways to get the ball to JJ, featured him all over the field, had him in the slot, handed him the ball, threw it to him short, threw it to him deep. The line, blocked it up. Chip Kelly was in his bag in terms of the eye candy. They had guys going every which way. Then they drag a Mecca down underneath and willed hit. I mean, it was crazy watching the show. It's hard to believe. I'm not going to mention other games. I told you guys last week, I'm done discussing another game, and I don't want to talk about it. And we're sending that one to the cornfield. But it's hard to believe that it was even the same team, because it was so radically different. I love the way that they were running the offset back, kind of putting the back almost in flaring them out to the left. They were running the wheel routes. They are. I'm telling you, this Ohio State team is going to be a very difficult out come playoff time, because I've watched a lot of playoffs and a lot of sports, been part of a lot of teams, and every year there's some team that gets hot during the playoffs. And you're always going to there's always going to be somebody. You're always like, who's the hot team? Well, let me tell you, we're the hot team. We're hot defensively. We are absolutely hot offensively. We've got the hottest quarterback in all of college football is going right now, the hottest running back in Travion Henderson, and definitely the Marmaduke of Marmadukes and J.J. Smith on the outside. We're going to be tough to beat. We're going to be tough to beat. And if you're going to the Rose Bowl, I am not going to the Rose Bowl, because I am going to watch one of my kids play sports, which is, when you have kids, there's few things that take exception, but this one has to have to take exception. But if you get a chance, go. If you've never been to the Rose Bowl, epic environment to watch a game. Ohio State, Oregon, just going to be a great game. And I'm telling you, Ohio State, nobody wants to play Ohio State right now. And the last thing the Oregon Ducks wanted after a perfect season is their first game in the college football playoff after a long layoff is a red-hot Ohio State team. So buckle up. There's still room on the bandwagon, but last night was really special, and I'm sure anybody that was there would echo that, because it was one I'm never going to forget.
Yeah, I think that the momentum is palpable. Again, we're right now on DraftKings, Texas is the favorite to win it because they don't play us immediately. So it's because they have us, then we're number 2, Oregon's 3. So, again, obviously one of the top 3 is going to get eliminated in this next game. But I said all year, and I said this probably 100 times, that look, us losing on outs in their biggest game of all time by 1 point or whatever it was, or a field goal, whatever, and the way Will Howard had that faux pas. I'm not gonna blame Will Howard. He was trying to make a play, and there probably was a second that was left, and of course we get hosed, because we always get hosed and when it comes to officiating. But the fact that he has another crack at this team, and the way that we're playing, and the way our scheme was, because again, I said all week, Tennessee has an excellent defensive line. That was probably the best defensive line that we've got against all year. Save maybe Penn State. I mean, Penn State's one end is Abdul Carter's out. He's outstanding. I think he's better than Pierce was. But to not give up a sack in that game is incredible. And a lot of it comes down to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly. Obviously, you got to give Justin Fry a lot of credit, because he's. I mean, I know we live in this weird world where everyone wants Justin Fry fired, which again, I get it, because you're the offensive line coach at Ohio State. No one will ever like you. You'll always be hated. But, he's lost 2 All-Americans, first round left tackle and the Remington center. And we look like that, and people want him fired. And again, there's a lot of stuff that can be better. But I mean, for Luke Montgomery to come in and play like that off the bench in his first real big time action, he was really, really good. What Carson Hinsman has done has been outstanding. Donnie shifting to left tackle is something that's going to be historical if they pull this thing off. I mean, one of the greatest moves in the history of selfless. Gets out there and erased 2 really good ends. I mean, they're 2 ends where the combined the highest pass rush win rate in the country. So I mean, those guys were super legit. And we threw a shutout against them. And I'm so proud of those guys. I'm happy for those guys. They played with an edge. Trey Henderson, again, there's nothing in the universe that I love more than a great running back. And Trey Henderson there's people that should be shot into the sun for what they've said about Trey Henderson in the past. And that kid he's so talented. He's so good. He's ferocious, runs so hard. And he's got jets. My favorite running backs are guys that have the afterburners that can take it to the house. And they can break the game open, and speed kills. I mean, then obviously you go to JJ, who's the best player on the entire team, and good God, we have him for 2 more years. By the grace of God, we have the best player in the country for 2 more years somehow, and should have won the Blitnikoff. Again, I just scary. Again, I know that Oregon got the bye, but I'm like you, Nevada. Like I mean, if you said, Kirk, would you rather be in Oregon shoes or Ohio State shoes after throttling an SEC school? That's a talented team. I mean, I know that we beat them 42 to whatever, but it's like that's a really talented team. Like that momentum is something that and again, you're coming from me, a guy that we had that 40-day layoff between the Michigan game and the Florida game, and that didn't help us. I mean, you guys can tell, like, we had one of the greatest performances in the history of the horseshoe. Then we laid it. Now Ted Ginn broke his leg. I get it. That kind of sucks too. But I think that this momentum is going to be huge for us. But what are some of your other thoughts? Because again, I don't know. I was so proud of Jack Sawyer. He's like a little brother to me. Like, I love Jack to death, and he didn't deserve to go out like that in that Michigan game, and for him to go out, win the first playoff game in the shoe, beat an SEC school, send them all home sad. It was I was just so happy for the guys. I was happy for the players. I was happy for the coaches, the people involved with the program, because again, those guys, like, they've been getting just lashed, just beaten to death, and and again, I mean this sincerely, and I don't like to go negative on the fan base, but like, I'm just glad there's a big chunk of our fans. I'm just glad that they didn't have to play a game last night, because they would have rolled over and died, and these kids didn't. They said, and again, if I'm these kids, I take a real good audit of the people that stabbed us in the back, jumped ship, crapped on us. And again, we're very pointed with our criticism at times, but there's a line. And again, we're always trying to find a way. What's the path forward? It's not just burn the whole thing down, nuke everything, everybody sucks. Like that's you're catering to the smooth brains at that point. But I can't do it. And again, I was happy for Ryan Day. I mean, ecstatic for Ryan Day. I was ecstatic, but I was mostly happy for like those players, man, like Jack Sawyer and Donnie and Cody Simon and Will Howard. Oh my God, the stuff I've had to read about Will Howard since the Michigan game, it's insane. And Will Howard had one of the greatest performances of all time last night in Ohio Stadium versus a good Tennessee team versus that pass rush. And whew, what a night, Nevada. What are your thoughts? And we're going to get these super chats because they're piling up.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Will was absolutely just spectacular. And if you were at the game, I don't know how it came across on the television, but if you were at the game, you saw, I mean, he wasn't dinking and dunking down the field, man. He was throwing into some narrow windows down the sideline. His deep ball throwing, which has been great all year. Statistically, he's been one of the best deep ball throwers in the country. But somehow this narrative started, he can't throw the deep ball. He was dropping dimes last night. And, as you said, that's a really good Tennessee defense. Maybe the best defense we'll play all year, statistically, certainly. And we'll just shredded those guys. And, Travion, obviously, I've been accused of Travion's a source, Travion's my illegitimate son, Travion's whatever for my defense of him. I just think he's a terrific running back. And last night he is, not that he doesn't, him and Quinshawn aren't in a battle, but I mean, he's so good. I mean, he's Jahmyr Gibbs. That's who he is. He's some NFL team is going to get Jahmyr Gibbs, and his name just happens to be Travion Henderson. He's fantastic. And Jack Sawyer, to think about the despair, the absolute anguish that I saw on Jack's face over that stupid flag planting incident at the end of that other game that I'm not going to talk about, and to see the joy on his face, mission accomplished. That and I put a post on the board. This for me, I'm not saying this totally erases all the Michigan hurt. I get that. I'm not saying that, but it goes a long way with me. It went a long way with me, and if you reverse it and say which way would you rather beat Michigan and lose in the first round of the playoff, or would you rather lose to Michigan and win in the first round of the playoff? I can tell you where I want to be, and I tell you where Oregon, all these teams in the college football playoff, the one thing they did not want to see is Ohio State get hot. Ohio State put a complete game together, because that has got to be an absolutely terrifying proposition. And as you said, we talked about the way forward. The way forward is Ryan, coach fearlessly. Let let Chip. Do you see him use tempo last night? Not all the time, but used it strategically. Went fast a few times. Kept the Tennessee defense guessing when they went. Kept them from substituting. Went to the big players. Fed the big dogs. Kept the thing going all over the field, and defensively they figured out early on they didn't need to blitz to get pressure. They just let Jack and JT go, and they were generating the pressure on their own. So they were able to stay with 7 guys back, which is great luxury. And Tennessee was never going to beat you by Nico just scrambling and picking up the occasional first down. They just weren't going to be able to get enough points and enough yards doing it that way. So yeah, a night of absolute validation for everybody. And again, I really believe that game saved the program in a lot of ways, because we're kind of staring into it that you go out there and do you lay an egg? Do you fire your coach? Do you go on a coaching search? Do you lose your recruiting class? Do you lose your recruiting, your players? Are you upgrading? Are you not upgrading? Where are you going? Where do you go forward on this? And instead, we got an answer from our 45-year-old head coach who just rolled the finest coaching performance of his career, in my opinion, the most complete game of his career. And for me, one of the most satisfying wins ever to be able to chant SEC at those hillbillies as they walked out the stadium was beautiful. Because again, I was there in 07, had to listen to that stupid SEC chant at the down in the LSU game down in New Orleans, and so it was fun to kind of give it back to them. And yeah, it was a big night all the way around, and a lot of smiling faces. And you've been part of these teams. Practice is going to be great this week, dude. There's not going to be any long faces to practice because everybody played. All 4 quarterbacks played. Every single player on that team played and played well, and that makes for a spirited competition. And good luck to Oregon in 11 days.
Yeah, and I think that it gives you there's like a real purpose. Like, I mean, there's a jolt now because you got the first one done, and now you get to see the team that you've played against, and these guys really well, and they're a really good team, but they've got a lot of stuff that should be yours. Like, we wanted to be undefeated, we wanted to win the Big Ten, we wanted to beat Michigan, and we have a chance to take all that from them. Because again, like, as great as it is to win the Big Ten, if they lose the Rose Bowl and we advance, then it's all for naught. All that other stuff is for naught. So it's time for us to become takers. Take what we want, take what's ours. And I think that's what this team's going to do. And again, there's I don't want to say that there's like lessons. Well, there are lessons. Again, like losing that Michigan game, you can use the misery of a loss like that to propel you, because it'll either kill you or it'll propel you forward. And again, it's the same thing with that Oregon loss, like misery and like that pain and walking off the field. So, again, this team has got great leadership, great seniors, one of the greatest quarterbacks in school history, a guy who's, a consummate leader. He's the unquestioned leader of the team in Will Howard, a guy who I think is outstanding. And again, people can say whatever they want about me, but I know what good quarterbacks look like, and he is one. And I think that he's going to be really good. And it's funny, I was talking to, some of my family, and I love my family. I was at our Christmas party, and it's just like, they're like, well, he's not an NFL guy. And I was like, well, and I'm literally watching I'm watching Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and I was talking Will Levis, Mason Rudolph. I'm like, do you guys see some of these guys? Not every NFL guy's Pat Mahomes. And I think Will Howard, he could make hay in the NFL. Like, he's going to go to a good situation, but my God, guys, you guys see this guy throwing? And the thing is, he's improved dramatically. And again, that's credit to Ryan Day and Chip Kelly. They have coached the living crap out of him, because he was good at Kansas State, but he's a different level now. And again, his footwork, when it's tight, he drops dimes, and he's a horse. When he gets out and runs, man, it's scary. And again, he was hurt against Michigan. It's a fact. So, when he was out there and he was, wasn't himself, again, we still crucify people that are warriors, and he's a warrior, and he played through a pretty significant injury, and now he's healthy, and it looked it. So again, it wasn't like some, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. No, he got stung in that hit, and he had a significant injury and didn't play great. And again, I give him credit for being a warrior and not rolling over and dying and sitting on the sideline. And, he wanted to fight it out, and he did, and he didn't play great. And so he got, beaten to death by the fan base. but I love the kid. Like I think he's a kid that he's easy to play for the offensive line. And our line was fantastic. Again, Luke was a revelation. He played really well. Carson Hinsman, what he's done is this. Carson Hinsman, there should be like a Lifetime movie made about his season, because like he was, January or last December in the Cotton Bowl, like basically ostracized, gone, doesn't play. He comes off the bench, and now he's been balling. And he was really good last night. And like I said, Tennessee's front was really, really good. Their front four was really good. Probably the best D-line that we've seen from top to bottom with their depth. And we manhandled them. And again, a lot of it is because of the scheme. Chip Kelly, again, a lot of the stuff he did, he kept it easy on our guys. Not everything has to be, empty protection and long 7-step drops and you get a pass block for 9 seconds. Like, no, like get rid of the ball quick. Get it to JJ, get it to Mecca, get those little short passes. Again, that's a pass rusher's. There's nothing pass rushers take more than a quick game in the throw game, because they don't even have a chance to do anything and they get frustrated really easily by that. So again, and then we dotted some long balls too, so the RPOs were really good. Again, the first one I told Nevada and Preacher, like, we got away with one there because Dottie's like 6 yards down the field, but that's part of the RPO game is when you when you run it, there is a chance that you could get a long touchdown called back because someone's illegally downfield, but we roll the dice that they're not going to catch it, or they're not, can't review it, and people aren't going to catch it. So Dottie's like 6 yards downfield and they throw a touchdown. I was like, whew, thank you, God. He didn't see that one. So appreciate it. All right, let's get into some super chats. Again, we appreciate you guys. We missed you guys last night, but we're going to have a huge one tonight. All right, Clueless, Pat Daddy, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. Luke Montgomery looked great. I don't know how Tigra has remained entrenched in front of him. Why can't Fry see the more talented players in the room until late in the process, such as Carson Hinsman and Luke Montgomery? Nevada, I'll let you take this one because it is perplexing to say the least. What are your thoughts?
I actually thought Tegra played good when he was in there. I mean, I actually thought he did a nice job. But yeah, Luke played well, and to me, it just speaks to how much depth we have in that room. People want to talk about, we don't have guys in the room. Look, we've lost 3 starters. We lost Zen, we lost Josh, we lost Seth, and now we roll a starting 5, and then we roll another guy in there in terms of Luke on top of that. So now you're a guy 9. We've had seasons where guy 9 never ever played, let alone started, let alone played meaningful minutes. Most years we don't get past guy 6. So it's a deep room. It's a talented room, and these guys, when they get the chance, are really balling out. But I like the way that they actually worked those rotations. Could have been a disaster, but to their credit, I think it actually worked to the benefit of all the guys. Because when Teg was in, he made some nice plays as well. So I liked what Austin was doing. I definitely liked what Luke was doing. And obviously Carson, snaps were low. Snaps aren't perfect, but Will's pretty adept at fielding them. And Donnie looks natural at their left tackle, and Josh is just a war daddy at right tackle. So no, I think we got the best of both worlds, and certainly found more depth for the future in Luke.
Yeah, and I mean this sincerely. There were years where if we would have gotten down to 7 and 8, we would have been done. And I mean that sincerely. Like, I think about some of the guys that were, I mean, like in 2012, man, our sixth man was Taylor Decker, who's a true freshman, and thank God he never had to play. And again, Taylor has turned into a fantastic NFL tackle, but as a true freshman, he was very raw. And again, every true freshman lineman is very raw. So to like count on him to be the dude for the whole season would have been very tough. So I commend Justin, but I commend Luke Montgomery. I mean, Luke comes off the bench and he hasn't played all year, and he goes against really good defensive linemen and was really doing well. He's obviously gotten stronger. Again, it's going to be interesting to see who gets a shot at tackle next year, because you've got 3. Well, I mean, you have 4 guys on the interior that are all back and they're all good with Tegra. And then obviously you have Luke and you have Austin and you have Carson Hinsman. So I mean, you've got like legitimate depth now. So it's good. I mean, I'm telling you, like I was very happy for those guys, proud of those guys, and I know that it's an anxiety bomb when you got to go out there and play in your first game and you're playing a good opponent, and those guys didn't blink. And again, I give a lot of credit to our defensive line, because it's like I always tell these guys when I'm talking to them when they're young and try to give them some advice. I'm like, look, just treat it like inside run, because like you have to go an inside run in practice. Inside runs are our most physical drill that we do. We usually do it on Tuesdays early in the season, and you run your inside running plays versus the defense. And I'm like, dude, if you can block Ty Leak, you can block anybody. Like Ty Leak is a absolute. I think he's the best defensive tackle in the country. I think he's better than any other guy. I want to take him over any guy in the country right now. He is a monster, and when he's on, he is explosive, and he knocks the dudes back. And same with Jack and JT, and even Ty Hamilton. I mean, we've got really. So I always say, like, okay, if you block those four guys, you can block anybody, because Jack and JT were destroying their tackles. And again, God bless you, David Sanders Jr. I know that you think that like Vol for life and all that, and I'm sure they gave you a lot of money or whatever, but like I watched those tackles last night and they were abused. It was bad. It was really bad. And the thing I learned is that, I just think that the problem with the SEC is that, when you play in the SEC, it doesn't get you ready for the speed that you're going to see in the Big Ten from the defensive ends and the big guys, So never heard that one before. But I was super excited for my boy Jack because he was feasting. Rohan Vangol, what's up, brother? Thanks for the 5. Hope you're having a great Sunday. The beat up O-line and more rushing TDs and passing. I'm hard on Justin Fry, but he, Day, and Chip had the toughest guys available out there and schemed them up well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to say about Justin Fry. Also, Mike Salini's now the O-line coach at UNLV. He got hired by Dan Mullen. So, you've got 3, D1 O-line coaches in there now running that show. And again, like I said, I'm just happy for these kids because, go to any room in the Woody Hayes. Go to Brian Hartline's room and say, okay, you don't have JJ and you don't have a Mecca, like knock on wood. Or go to Carlos Laughlin's room and say, okay, you don't have Quinshawn and Trey. Or go to, Chip Kelly's room and say, oh, you don't have Will Howard, you don't have Devin Brown. So, like, you take away the top 2 guys in every single room, like, it ain't going to usually be pretty. So there's been some adjustment time and, we've been snake bit. Like, I mean, you can't blame anybody when they tear a patellar tendon and Seth's Achilles and whatever, but they've rebounded. And again, I say it, said it before, I'll say it again. Chip Kelly's scheme was fantastic. And again, he protected the offensive line. And again, that's what I was begging for him to do. Because again, it's not really protecting him, but there's ways to make life a lot easier on the offensive line. And there's ways to make it really difficult. And again, I watch NFL teams every week with these genius guru offensive coordinators like single block Myles Garrett with no chip help, no slide. They put in their practice squad tackle versus Myles, and he just destroyed, or Max Crosby or Nick Bosa or some of these guys that are like TJ Watt, unblockable. And I'm just like, why would you ever do that? So again, those guys had some really good ends, and we did a lot of stuff to help our guys out and give them credit. But again, they still had to go out and play it and execute it. So it's not like it was just, like they put the bumpers up in the bowling lane. Like they still had to go and throw the strikes. And our line, they were dealing last night, and it was great. Nevada, your thoughts? Again, Rohan, I appreciate you, my dude. He says he's hard on Fry, but he, Day, and Chip had the toughest guys out there, and they schemed him up well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, got to give credit when it's due. And Justin takes the bullets when they're bad. And a lot of people were predicting a Missouri Cotton Bowl type of performance last night, and it was anything but. There was a virtuoso performance by the offensive line and by guys 7, 8, and 9 on the line. And I give all the credit in the world to them. And as impressive as it was on television, it was more impressive there in person. Those guys were doing work, keeping a clean pocket, and giving guys room to run. And Chip Kelly was in his bag. He if he keeps it up like that, we're going to be and there's no reason to believe that he won't. We're going to be a very difficult out for anybody in this playoff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were like the thing I like about Chip is he's just hard to go against. I've watched more Chip Kelly film than any human being on this planet. I've watched all of the UCLA games. Going back to his Little Oregon games, I have this whole vault of all 22 film that I watched with Chip Kelly. And when he's on, I sit there and I'm just like, I don't know how you're supposed to guard that. I don't know what defense you're supposed to call against that. And there were a lot of times I kept saying that last night. I was like, damn. That RPO on the first one to JJ, that was a pure RPO because our O-line was blocking pure run, and Will pulls it, throws it over the top to JJ for the touch. I mean, I don't know how you defend that. Like, I just don't, especially, if they're not going to call Dottie for being downfield. Like, it's literally like impossible to defend that because our guys are blocking the crap out of the run. And then Will pulls it, dots it, and hits JJ. perfectly. And again, it's just, whew, it's hard to go against. Hard. Sergio Salmonix for the 5. Great win. Looks like the cold weather was a factor. Tennessee players were dropping like flies. Yeah, again, that's something that as a guy, I played in a bunch of cold games, and I love cold. You guys know I wear shorts and flip flops when it's 5 degrees outside. I never wear pants. I hate wearing pants. So anyways, I walk around in the shorts because I like the cold tolerance type thing. But anyways, sometimes in the cold, people don't hydrate correctly because they still think that, oh, it's not 95 degrees, so I don't need to drink my Gatorade or my Gator Lights or whatever because it's so cold out. But you still got to hydrate the same way. And I think that Tennessee's guys were cramping and dehydrating because they probably didn't think they needed to because it was cold. So again, you got to stick to your routine, and that was something that I think that's on their staff. I mean, that's on their strength staff and that's on their coaching staff for not getting those guys to hydrate. Because I mean, I always had the same routine. If it was 1,000 degrees out or if it was 5 degrees out, I was drinking the same 2 drinks. I'd always have 2 Gatorades, and we had these things called Gator Lights, which are salt tablets. They're disgusting, but I would choke those down, drink 2 of those, and then I never caught a cramp ever. And I drank, you drink throughout the game. When you're on the bench, you're always hydrating because again, you don't want to. The dumbest thing you can do is miss time in the game because you're cramping because you're too stupid to know how to drink Gatorade. So I don't know. Nevada, your thoughts? You were there. The cold weather, do you think it was a factor in the Tennessee players were dropping like flies?
Yeah, well, I thought part of that was tactical because we'd get cooking, and they wanted to slow us down. They wanted to slow that tempo down. They were doing that, but yeah, no, I think it's a good point about the cramping and the hydration. You know, they tried to make a big deal before the game coming out without shirts on, like they weren't cold. They were obviously all tiger balmed up and stuff like that. But yeah, the weather was a factor last night. There's absolutely no question about it, and yeah, our guys embraced it. They tapped, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like when guys do like the no shirt thing in the cold, like they just look like a bunch of posers. So I'm just like, like I never ever went out for pregame warm up. I never did any of that stuff. I'd sit in my locker, get a rubber band, stretch, go to the chiropractor, get cracked, and roll. Like I didn't need to go out there and dance around. I mean, they look so stupid. I'm like, what, do you got to come out and play with no shirt on too, you moron? But I don't know. They're all face. And that's like the story of the SEC is a lot of their teams, they're all face. And now that Alabama isn't around to bail them out every year and win titles, like, good luck. We'll see. Larry Daniels, thank you for the 5. Thank you for being an All-Star member as well. Why why are we bad fans if we expect close to last night's performance versus the team up north performance? And are we smart enough to know the difference? Well, I don't think you're bad fans. I mean, again, I was just as, I mean, upset, angry, whatever you want to call it. But I thought that as great as Chip was in this game, Ryan, I think Ryan was tight as a drum versus Michigan. And he was just like, we're so much better than they are. We're going to play ultra conservative. We're going to run at their best players. We're going to win it with defense. And we're going to just grind it out and try to win. Like he didn't like try to win the game. He just tried to basically not lose the game and end up losing the game anyways. So again, like you're allowed to be upset if it's something like that's that bad where we just, schematically, and again, I felt so bad for our defense. I really thought our defense played well enough to beat Michigan. Our offense just let them down, which again, and that's fine. That's the story of football because they're not always going to be like last night where they're both operating at, at the highest level. But I don't know. Like I just think, but at some point, the horse has been beaten to death, and there's no more beating of the dead horse because, like, eventually you got to let it go and flush it down the toilet and move on to the next game. And the team did. Some of the fans are still, we want Mike Vrabel and fire everybody, but like I said, that's why you guys watch our show because you guys want solutions. You guys want to know what's the path forward, and we kind of laid it out. And I said 1,000 times, and again, I know what Ryan Day and his staff are watching, and again. Football is a very simple game. Like if there's a team that has a good game plan, good chance we're going to copy a lot of it. Like Georgia's game plan versus Tennessee, get the ball out quick, run the ball, be physical. That's exactly what we did. Except we have better players than Georgia does, like way better players than Georgia, offensively anyways. So, I don't know, like you're allowed to be upset. And again, I think that, again, I don't want to go rehash it. Nevada doesn't want to either, but Chip was on fire last night, and I think that now that he gets another crack at playing his old school, he's going to be an inferno when he goes to the Rose Bowl. Nevada, what are your thoughts?
Well, look, you talk about being smart enough to know the difference. Well, we're smart enough to know the difference between venting, being a constructive fan, and saying, I want us to lose so we can get rid of Chip Kelly or Ryan Day or Will Howard sucks. He is who we thought he was. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I think is just silly. And so I will always call out silly. I think that's bad. I think fans that sell their tickets and don't come to the game because they've given up on the team are bad fans. I'll always believe that. If you quit on the team, if you quit on the players, you're doing it. I think you're a bad fan. That's just that's my humble opinion. And I, I think having being frustrated when we lose to a 23-point underdog, but that's completely legitimate. But there's a line. Everybody knows we're all adults. We know the difference between solid criticism and being boorish, and that's where it is for me. And I just hated to see people turn on Trey Henderson, turn on Will Howard, say Chip Kelly's a fraud, say fire Ryan Day. See Michigan still hasn't punted in the fourth quarter. That kind of stuff. Fire Jim Knowles. All because they had a bad day. Just because you have a bad day doesn't make you a bad player. Just because you had a bad day doesn't make you a bad coach. So same thing for fans. You can have an opinion. You can be frustrated, but just don't be boorish. That's my thing. You might be different. Kirk Herbstreit's might be different. Chris Fowler's maybe different, but that's just my take on it. That's how I see the world.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think that you just have to kind of measure everything out. And again, like you're allowed to be obviously very upset when you lose to Michigan, especially when you have a team like this and it's at home and Michigan's not very good and we kind of let them off the hook. But again, like don't stop wearing your Ohio State stuff after a loss. Don't feel boorish. Don't put yourself in the cause. Like I wear Ohio State stuff every day. Now it's Buckeye Scoop stuff, but it's the colors. It says Buckeye, and so yeah. But I wear my Ohio State flip flops every day. My Ohio State shorts that I wear all the time. So I don't stop wearing the gear just because you're scared that some Michigan fan might say something stupid to you. Again, and again, there's the life haters that they can't dare wear it after a loss, and I love wearing myself after a loss because I just don't care. But it's I'd let those guys know that hey, I'm still with you. Everybody else might be leaving, but I'm still here. I'm still gonna be podcasting, talking about it, diagramming it, and studying it. And again, I just I'm happy. I've been saying these guys have a chance to become the best Ohio State team of all time, and it's all in front of them. And again, you look at how this field sets up: Oregon, Quinn Ewers, Texas, and then Georgia or Notre Dame in the Benz Dome in Atlanta. So you want to talk about the ultimate Ryan Day retribution cycle? Holy cow! You get a crack at you get another crack at Oregon, and then you get to play Quinn Ewers, and then you get to play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl or in the Mercedes-Benz Dome again. Whew! Talk about a storybook. Madamus Prime Entertainment, thank you for the 5. How proud were you seeing our own lineman in front and seeing Montgomery get a pancake? Nevada OH. Yeah, Luke came off great on that play. It was funny because Donnie, and this is why what scheme is sometimes better than actual execution, because Luke crushed that guy. And again, it was a legitimate pancake. The guy didn't get tripped, because again, sometimes people call things pancakes, but really he gets tripped by somebody. Luke muscled the guy and put him on the ground. It was great. I bet he felt amazing on that one. Donnie took it one right in the teeth, man. He went up to the second level, and the linebacker from Tennessee put him on his butt, but it didn't matter because Trey Henderson sprung it and scored a touchdown. So again, when you guys ask me about scheme, and that wasn't Donnie pancaking the linebacker, he actually got pancaked, but the scheme was so clean that Trey got to the third level and he was gone. Some poor safety trying to run him down, and Trey's like a Bugatti once he gets in the open field, and he's gone. So again, the scheme was excellent. I was happy for Luke, because he got the right torque on the guy and dumped him on the ground, and that is an amazing feeling. I've been there before, and there's nothing better than throwing some poor guy who's got his mom and dad sitting in the stands, and you throw their son right in the dirt in front of millions of people watching on TV. That gets replayed. It's oh, what a great feeling. Nevada, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. I mean, it's so happy for Luke, so happy that he got a chance to play, and then when he did, he played as well as he did, because I frankly didn't know how it was going to go for him. It could have gone one of two ways. And yeah, as I said, as good as that is, not that I'm looking forward to next year already, but I'm looking forward to next year. It's nice to have guys. We're now starting to assemble quiet depth for next year. You've got Austin and Luke and Tegra and Carson, who've all played now and played meaningful minutes against really good teams. So definitely encouraging for today, encouraging for tomorrow, and I was just happy for the kid all the way around.
Yeah, I agree. Sergio Asama, thanks for the deuce. How was it not PI on Tennessee on the interception in the end zone? I have no idea. Nevada, do you have anything on that? 'Cause I watched that play and I was like, how's that not? It's like, it's so blatant, but what are your thoughts?
Well, like you said, we got away with one on Donnie being downfield on our first hit, so maybe that stuff works itself out. But yeah, I mean, the guy had his literally like he was his arms all the way around JJ's waist at the time, and yeah, I thought it was a beautiful throw. Unfortunate interception, a tremendous play by the guy who got his foot down. Yeah, I don't know if his foot was down or not, but you know, who the heck knows? But that certainly was a PI. But that stuff generally, I like that the referees, other than the pass, the roughing the passer call, which I thought was bad, but I thought generally they stayed out of the way and let the teams play. They didn't become the story of the game, and I think for Ohio State that's always good. But yeah, that looked clear pass interference to me.
Yeah, I thought Lorenzo Salas Jr. got away with one too in the corner of the end zone. I thought like that was really close. But again, hey, if you're gonna call it like that both ways, I'm good with it. As long as it's not you don't call it on them and then you nail us for the kind of the same thing. So again, if you're gonna let them play a little bit more physical and then whatever, then I'm good with it. As long as you're consistent. Like I didn't have many bones. I mean that roughing the passer was one of the worst calls I've ever seen because I don't know. I literally don't know what Kenyatta could do any different because you're tackling the guy. You don't know if he still has the ball. Then you land on him, and that's it. It's just like it wasn't malicious. It wasn't violent. I don't know how you're supposed to play defense. When you especially against a 6'7" quarterback, it's like he's not a Smurf, but I don't know. But I appreciate you, Sergio, Beth, and Karis. What is up, guys? Hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for the 5. I told everyone with bad vibes to chill. To the haters, no more bad vibes. I called it 38-10. They exceeded my expectations. Go Bucks. Nevada OH. Beth and Kira, hope you guys are having a great night. Yeah, I again, Nevadabuck is Mr. Good Vibes, and he was like, we're not talking about Michigan anymore. We're moving forward, and that's the way to roll. I mean, I'm telling you, like, you got to take the mentality of the team. Like, as a fan base, take the mentality of the team. Flush again. That Michigan game will always sting. But if you win a national title, then no one's going to care about the Michigan game. And I mean that sincerely. And I know you guys can come throw tomatoes at me and whatever, but like, there's nothing that's more important than winning the big ring. That supersedes the Big Ten title, all the stuff that they didn't get to do. If they won the big ring, man, it erases all the pain. And I don't care if some idiot Michigan fans are like, whoa, we beat you. He's like, yeah, but we got the big ring. That's all that matters. So it's just my opinion. And again, I'm a guy that's got 6 pairs of gold pants. I trade them all for the big ring. And these guys have a shot to do it. And I think they're the favorites to do it. Nevada, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, we get a chance to play Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, and played Georgia maybe down in Atlanta. So unbelievable path to the title. But look, I wouldn't bet against Ohio State right now, and Ohio State, they played their best game. We've been waiting for them to play a complete game. They finally did, and I think they found something. And when teams figure stuff out, it can carry them a long way. So that there's a reason why Ohio State's the betting favorite over an undefeated Oregon team already, and that lines up to 2.5 and could go higher.
Yeah, I agree. Gabe Gaines, thanks for the 5. Bad day for the SEC yesterday. Football team beats down Tennessee, and the basketball team takes down number 4 Kentucky by 20. Nevada OH. Yeah, that was a good day for the Bucks, man. Again, basketball team's coming around. We got our boy Bradshaw back, so hey, and again, in basketball, it matters the tournament. So just make the tournament this year and get it rolling. But yeah, they've got a long way to go. But hey, it was nice to get a W in the basketball arena as well. Russ Stoller, thanks for the 5. I was as mad as anyone after that Michigan loss. This is the way we wanted OSU to play. If they keep this up, I think we win it all. I agree. I mean, that's what we've been saying all year. And, it's amazing the stuff that Nevada and I get called for just being intelligent, because we get called sunshine pumpers and shills and, oh, you guys just say that they're good and they're not really any good. And I'm like, well, I think they're pretty good. I mean, I don't know what you guys have been watching, but, I mean, Nevada, I mean, Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel both independently said that this is the most talented team in school history. So again, I'm not blind. And again, and I've said it a million times, but when you're talking talent, I talk about coaching talent, because Jim Knowles is having like a Cy Young, all-time season, as a stopper right now on defense, and Chip Kelly is cooking. Now again, we've had to replace a couple offensive linemen, so there's been some bumps in the road, but and Will Howard is healthy, and he is just fantastic to watch. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that are breaking our way. You look at Georgia, their quarterback's out. They're going to have a tough fight with Notre Dame. Texas is going to be very good. Oregon's going to be very good. But I mean, I don't see Godzilla sitting out there anywhere. I mean, Oregon's really good, but that's, we lost by 1 point last time. And again, I said the whole season, if we see these guys in the playoff, we're going to have the edge, and we're favored. So again, I was right. Because again, Will Howard probably can't even sleep at night because he's so excited that he gets redemption against those guys in the Rose Bowl. And our defense is going to get redemption. Denzel Burke's going to get redemption. Again, I would just be giddy. The only thing that'd be better is if they could play Michigan again. But this is like playing Oregon again is going to be it's going to be an inferno. It's going to be electric. And I know that these guys, they've got what we want, and we can take it from them and end their season. And there's nothing sweeter in the entire world than ending their season. And I think we're going to. Nevada, your thoughts? If we keep playing this way, we're going to win it all?
Well, I mean, we'll certainly have a chance. I think, as you mentioned, I mean, there's a reason why we're favored over Oregon from people that are doing this for real money. And that's bad news for Oregon, and I think it's bad news for everybody. So there's no Godzilla. Well, I think we are Godzilla. I think we are the Godzilla. They've awakened the beast, and he's filled with a terrible rage. And I think we're getting ready. I think we're getting ready to go on a little bit of a heater right now. In Oregon, Oregon's a good team. Oregon's a really good team, but I think we're a borderline great team, and we'll find out. We're gonna chance in 11 days. But Oregon got a bad draw. Oregon got the bad draw. These other teams are playing Boise State and Arizona State.
I know.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we get Ohio State. That's our consolation prize for running the table and going undefeated. And for that, the College Football Playoff Committee should be disbanded and this whole format scrapped, because it's embarrassing that they set it up this way.
They got to see the big bad wolf. It's not going to be fun for him. Michael Vivo, thanks for the 5. Please tell us we have another kicker on the roster. Nope. We were rolling with our boy Jaden Felding throughout the playoffs. So
yeah, but that wasn't fair though. They asked him to kick a 56-yarder in that cold. The ball was not traveling. Nobody was kicking. Tom Dempsey and Brandon McManus and Adam Vinatieri melded together wasn't going to kick it 56 yards last night. So I mean, let's at least be fair. That was an unfair ask of him to do that, and he made all his extra points. So I'm gonna give the kid a break on that one.
Well, the Browns did draft Cade York in the 3rd round, and then he made a 59-yarder today in Cincinnati for the Bengals. So that's the most Browns thing of all time. Is they take the best kicker in college history and cut him, and now he hit a 59-yarder in Cincy today. So he has no eligibility left, sadly. Ty Guthrie, thanks for the 5. Love the fire from the team last night. Most complete game of the season. Key is to take the same chip on their shoulders into Oregon. Go Bucks. Yeah, and again, I think that the electricity in the horseshoe is palpable, and it does fuel a team when the crowd is insane. And again, like I played in the 1 versus 2 Michigan game, played the whole game, and the crowd, it does help, especially our defense. When the offense can't signal, again, their offensive tackles are late. And Neyland Stadium is very loud, but the shoe, I mean, when we're cooking, we're cooking. It was exceptionally loud last night, and I love it. Like I said, I was happy for everybody that got to go. I was happy for the kids. It was great. So, yeah, you keep that intensity up. And like I said, the thing about us is nobody wants to see us I promise you, nobody wants to see the big bad Buckeyes right now. I love it. Armando Pena, thanks for the 10. I love the emotion and excitement from the guys celebrating touchdowns in the end zone and sidelines. Also, the ways dapped up day after touchdown speaks volumes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it's a tight crew, and they're there's a lot of energy, and we got a lot of guys that can score a lot of touchdowns. So you look at JJ and Trey, and Trey had that run where he ran up into the pack and then he split it. It's like guys got a little thirsty and get out of their gaps, and you do that against Trey, man, he's got to go to the crib, and he did. And I'll tell you what, him and JJ are as good of a duo as we've ever had at the same time, and I'm not even kidding. So I'm enjoying it, and like I said, these guys are going to be ferocious when they get out to Pasadena. And honestly, like, I like our format now because there's no more bowl trips. This is business. This is a neutral site game. It'll be beautiful weather, and wow, is it going to be fun. I cannot wait for that game. Nevada, your thoughts. Armando says he loved the emotion and the excitement from the guys. What was it like in the stadium? Because you're watching it, and again, being in the stadium, obviously a lot of us watch it on TV. I watched it on TV last night. It's actually, I love watching it on TV because I can see it a little bit better. But the atmosphere is incredible in the stadium. When it's cooking, it is. There's nothing really like it. But what was it like in the stadium watching the celebrations?
It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, the sideline was so engaged. I mean, it was just, you can tell these are guys. I mean, they've had a foxhole mentality where they know they've been under fire from the media, from the fan base, from everybody after laying an egg, and it was them against the world, and they were celebrating. Man, they were so excited. But it was, like you said, it was everybody. It wasn't just a few guys. I mean, it was everybody. The energy was palpable, and big hats off to the crowd. Anybody who was there last night, man, you did your part. You did your part. That was louder than any sold out 100% stadium of Ohio State fans. Even though we only had 75% of the people there, because the people were in full throat and they were going at it, and they never stopped. It was the first snap of the game to the last snap of the game. It was the crowd kept the intensity up, and big props to them for doing that, because a lot of people thought this was going to be Neyland North. They were going to take the stadium over. They were going to tear down the goalposts and throw them in the river and do all stuff. And instead, they just meekly ran out of the stadium. And and I got to give credit. The Tennessee fans that I interacted with were really nice. And it was so, so we're on there and we're just going crazy, and we're this, that. And we get back to the hotel and it's really late, and we go to the vending machine, and it's all out of waters. And I'm like, oh man, these out of water. So I turn around, and these two Tennessee fans are there, and they're like, hey, we have extra ones here. You can have these. And we're dressed full Ohio State regalia, and they're there in the Tennessee stuff, and they gave us a bunch of their waters. And I'm like, how nice are you? So that was that was my final interaction with Tennessee fans for the evening, and it was a positive one.
Did you make Funky take the first drink just to make sure there's no cyanide in it? Funky, you try this, son.
No, he was already passed out. We were dragging him back into the room or something like that, because he didn't dress warm enough for the game, and he left it all out in the field. But he was going nuts the whole time. So good.
Was he in shorts again? He wasn't in shorts, was he?
He didn't go shorts, but he did not go jacket. He did not go jacket. He did not go hat.
He was just
t-shirt
and sweatpants.
Jersey. T-shirt, jersey, and pants, and was just going nuts the whole time. I thought he was going to get a fight with the guys with the KeyBank suite, because they started gesturing at him, and he started flipping them off, and that was
the KeyBank suite like all Tennessee fans?
It wasn't all, but it was about half, my god! No, I'm sorry, it was the Cardinal Health, and they were not happy. They were not happy
Cardinal
with Funky.
Health. How far down was that one?
Two down to the left.
Got it.
And they were gesturing at Funky, and Funky was just giving it to him across the thing. So it was he was going at it. It was a proud moment.
It's always good when we win, because then like you get this, it's like nitrous oxide on the gestures for the Funky, And I'm glad Funky was asleep, because God, if he would have been like, in the hotel, he probably would have done like the Degeneration X, like he would have been like the WWE Attitude Era all over again in the middle of the hotel, and there's no way you'd have gotten water if Funky was there.
No, we got water. Thank you, Tennessee fans.
Fall for life. Paul Lewis, what's up, brother? Merry Christmas to you and your lady. Thank you for the 200. That's exceptionally generous. I appreciate you, brother. I hope you're doing great. Wow, what was the difference in the game plan what the hell is going on skill plan? I really just think that Ryan, was like, we are much better than they are, and we're gonna just play it conservative. We're not gonna risk, let's not turn it over. Let's win the rushing battle. Like, let's go full trestle ball and let our defense win it and beat them 17-13 or whatever. And again, he was close to doing it. If we make our 2 field goals, we win. So again, but now when Chip grabs the controls and he grabs the joystick and all of a sudden gets to call what he wants to do, then magically, like, the whole world was, again, there's no excuse for not targeting JJ Smith a single time in the second half of the Michigan game. Again, I have no idea what was going on. I don't want to talk about it anymore, but you asked, and I love you to death, so I will talk about it for you. But I don't know, man. Like, the JJ Smith 0 targets in the second half is the most perplexing stat in the history of Ohio State football, especially when it wasn't raining, it wasn't snowing, it wasn't a hurricane. Like, if it's some crazy, inclement weather, I could see it, but it was fine, and we just didn't target him. So we got that out of the way early and often, and JJ feasted. Nevada, your thoughts again, Paul. Thank you for the 200. You're the absolute man. I appreciate you, brother. Wow, what a difference in game plan. What was going on with the scum plan? Your thoughts, Nevada?
No, I mean, Ryan was trying to win the rushing battle, and he wanted to win the rushing battle to prove a point. He wanted to win the rushing battle to kill a narrative. He wanted to win the rushing battle because the team that had won the rushing battle had won the game the last 30 years in a row, or whatever it is. And he thought he was so much better than them that he didn't need to, get tricky about it. They could just line it up and beat them and win the rushing battle. And he was going to slay all these dragons all at once. And then it got too late and the game got away from him, missed a couple of field goals, and he ended up losing. And that is what happened. But the good news is that's in the past, and last night could not have been more different. We knew it was going to be different. We told people it was going to be different. And when we told them, I understood the skepticism. People were like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll see. Yeah. Well, we saw. So now you don't have to be but nobody else has to be skeptical hippos about it. They did it, and I fully expect that Oregon's going to see the full arsenal and more in 11 days. So buckle up.
I mean, and I have, like, really done, and again, you have to understand, this doesn't bug me at all. Actually, I always get a kick out of how dumb people are, but, like, people, like, in the comments for the one were like, oh God, Kirk, you picked the number 3 reason why we're gonna dominate Tennessee is the offensive line. And I literally, that was like my reason. I was like, yeah, our offensive line's gonna show out. Scheme's gonna be good. That's literally what I said. You watched the show from Friday, and people were like, you're an idiot. And then another guy was like ringing me up on Twitter. Like, I have all these idiots on Twitter always love to mention me because they're just morons. And again, some of them I've looked up their wives and their fiancés, and I can see why they'd be mad at life. I really could, because again, it's they're marrying Humpty Dumpty, most of them. And anyways, this guy's like, Kirk Barton said that Will Howard is one of the best leaders in Ohio State history. What, like this railing? I mean, and I'm like, dude, like, have you seen how these guys play for that dude? I mean, he came in 1 year and won the entire team over, and he's a freaking warrior. Like, again, I've been around the block. I've seen terrible quarterback leaders. I've seen great. I played with Troy's the greatest of all time. Been around JT Barrett, who I love like a brother, like a guy that I absolutely love to death. So again, I've seen what great looks like, and I've seen what terrible looks like, And so again, I'm all in on Will Howard, because again, the guy, he is a leader's leader, and I'm just so happy for him as well. Mark Paul, thanks for the 5. The last I heard, our goalposts are still standing. Thanks for being ultra as well. Yeah, that was funny. Like, they said the Vols are going to take our goalposts and throw them in the river. I'm like, okay, sure. Make sure you have your goggles on, because the pepper spray is coming. The Columbus PD, man, they get that pepper spray ready to go, and good. I mean, actually, the cool thing is, like, the pepper spray is orange, so it would have blended right in with their jerseys and their, overalls, bib overalls and stuff for their Purina puppy chow checkerboards on. So that actually would have been great if they'd have tried that, but they didn't get a chance. Nevada, any thoughts? Our goalposts are still standing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it just shows you the arrogance of the SEC. That they thought they were going to waltz in and do it, but they got an education, man. That's one they're not going to forget for some time, because that was a spanking. And the thing is, Ryan called off the dogs. I mean, he brought in Devin for a series. He brought in Julian for a series. He brought in Lincoln for a series. Josh Padilla was throwing guys around. I mean, we had the whole game plan. So Tennessee, just be lucky. It could have been worse if we weren't taking it easy on you guys. And thank you for the water.
The water Vols. See all the water that they literally thought that the goalposts were going to go in the water, and all that went in the water was into Nevada's belly, and he was probably parched from screaming. If they would have given you some lozenges too, they would have been the greatest fan base of all time, probably.
My goodness, I need that. I need that. Sucrets are so good. Sucrets were underrated. Those things were so good. Remember Sucrets?
Ricola. The Ricolas.
No, Sucrets are like a thing, but I think kids keep eating them because they thought they were candy. But I love Sucrets. If anybody has any Sucrets, send them to me.
There we go. Nevada Sucrets. All right, next to the 5, John Holland. Appreciate you, brother. Nevada, you're going to go on this one first. Why does Kirk Herbstreit hate Ohio State so much? What are your thoughts?
Because why does he hate Ohio State so much? Because since he first got into broadcasting, he believed that he had to go out of his way to be critical of Ohio State. And you see, other Ohio State guys that didn't, Joey Galloway doesn't do this. Clark Kellogg doesn't do this. Desmond Howard doesn't do that for Michigan for sure. But Kirk decided that he had to just kind of go the other way. And I think Ohio State hated his hypocrisy. Kirk's nickname around the Woody Hayes for I don't know if it is now, but for a very long time, and I'm talking about decades, was Judas. That's what they called him. They said, "Oh, is Judas coming by?" It was just like that was his name. They called him Judas, and you can figure out why that is. So the lack of love goes both ways. The fan base gets on him for it because they think that an Ohio State alumni, former captain, quarterback, should just be a little bit more supportive of the team. And I'm not sure that's the only reason. I'm sure there's multifacets to this reason, but this whole thing about they didn't call me and congratulate my kid for going to Michigan. I didn't even understand what that was last night. And last night, his telecasting was just embarrassing. I mean, he clearly was just he had a lot on his chest, and he was just going to say it. And I thought it was really a low point for him, and I was kind of embarrassed for him, to be honest.
Well, honestly, the thing I don't get about him is why would you, because again, you look at the people that have been on ESPN, like Mark May loved Pitt, Lou Holtz loved Notre Dame. Again, I actually watched the McAfee version of the thing when I rewatched it today, and he's because again, I don't watch it for McAfee, I watch it for AJ. AJ Hawk's on there, and I love AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk's one of the greatest teammates ever had. Great guy. Monster of a player, great human being. Like, I love AJ. So I like listening to him more than Kirk, way more than Kirk. It was like, AJ's on there. Like, I mean, no doubt who he's rooting for. And and again, nobody cares. Like, dude, like Desmond Howard is a shill for Michigan every single week. And it's just like, I don't know, like why go out of your way to appease the masses? When people, if someone calls me in Ohio State, I'm like, yeah. It's like people call me and you sunshine pumpers. I'm like, well, we're the most talented team in school history. Yeah, I'm a sunshine pumper. Are you crazy? What? We're not Tennessee. We're not like some of these other programs that have fallen off a cliff. We're not Alabama, who didn't make the playoff. We're not Michigan, who didn't make the playoff. We're the hottest team in the country right now. So again, yeah, we're sunshine pumpers, but we're also correct. That's the most important thing, is that we're right a lot. That's why you guys tune in, because again, when it all falls down in that Michigan game and the world's ending and everyone wants to jump off a bridge, like, you guys tune into us and we say, okay, this is the path forward. We can still win a national title. If we win a national title, that trumps losing to Michigan. I'm sorry. Like I said, I've beat Michigan 4 times. I trade all of them to win one national title. Because again, all the teams that I was on, and I won 4 Big Ten titles, we don't have reunions in the horseshoe for my teams that won a Big Ten title. Why? Because nobody cares. Now, the national championship, oh yeah, I see that 14 team. I mean, hell, we have the 2012 team that was undefeated, that wasn't even a very good team. They have them down on the field. I was a part of that. It's so, like, I don't know. Like I said, if these guys win the national championship in the first 12 team playoff, it's the best Ohio State team of all time. And I think they're going to do it. I really do. I mean, again, the beauty of, and in Nevada and I, we talked about this about not making the Big Ten championship and kind of taking your bye week then, and then playing this game instead. Like, to me, the momentum is like, it's like a snowball. It's an avalanche at this point. And I cannot wait for this Rose Bowl. Oh my God, this is going to be a fun 11 days. But yeah, I don't know what Kirk's issue is. And again, I never liked Kirk Herbstreit, and I know that Trust didn't like him, and there are a lot of guys that didn't like him around the wood because, you know, he would snake us. I mean, when we were going through the Jim Tressel whole ordeal with the tattoo gate and all this stuff, like I mean, there were a lot of Ohio State guys led by him that were coming off the top rope on Tress and guys in the program. And so again, like I have a long memory, and I remember every guy and every comment that was said about that and the direction of the program. And even when we weren't doing great, how over the top some of these guys were. And I don't know, I'm good, but you know, the fan base, I'm proud of the fan base for finally opening their eyes up a little bit. Jim Jackson, what's up, brother? I hope you and the wife are doing great. Thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, brother. Kirk, being at the game was awesome. So proud to be a Buckeye today. Can anything be done about Herbstreit? Like, has one of y'all former players ever gone to him like, chill, man? I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like I said, I've interacted with Kirk Herbstreit plenty of times. Like when I was an active player, he'd come to walkthroughs and pre-practice stuff. And I mean, I was cordial. I didn't care for him because, again, I knew that he was a snake. But again, I've got a spider sense for picking that out of the media guys. And not all the media guys are bad. I mean, there's some that do a really good job, but he's really jumped the shark. And I can't believe how thin his skin is when he's in the position that he's in. And, you know, he's one of the most successful color commentators of all time at this point, and he's crossed over to the NFL. But he gets shook by, you know, the Looney Tunes that are part of our fan base and part of the national fan base. And I don't understand why would you ever take criticism from somebody that you wouldn't take advice from? But that's just me. Nevada, your thoughts? Can anything be done about Herbstreit? Like, has one of the former players ever gone to him like, chill, man? And again, I don't know. He's a grown up. He can figure it out. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care. I mean, and he thinks that this gives him. He's looking for his affirmation for outside of the Ohio State community. He doesn't care. He wants the good doggies from the other people for being kind of the anti. It's like kind of like being the anti-home team radio station. That's kind of the role that he's playing. That's what he's adopted. He's going full throat on it. And he genuinely doesn't like Ohio State. He just doesn't, and that happens with a lot of people, and that's just where he's at. And nothing's going to change it, and nothing anybody's saying to him is going to change it. It's just it's like being in a divorce. At one point you were at I love you, and now you're at I can't stand you and get out of my house. And that's kind of where we're at with Judas.
Yeah, and you know, he's not going anywhere. Like I said, he's doing great and whatever. But I just think that there's a way to. And the stuff he did with Torg bugged me. Torg's a friend of mine, and like when he got Torg fired, Torg has some off. You know, Torg's a shock jock, and he says some off-color stuff about Desmond Howard, and you know, again, I didn't think it meant going after the guy's job. I think he said he wished that Desmond Howard should die or something like that. But again, he's a shock jock. Like they say stupid stuff like that. He doesn't literally want him to die, but you know, he got him fired from the Fan and. The people at the Fan don't like most of the guys that interacted with him. And, you know, he came up on 10 TV with Dom Tiberi, and yeah, I think he kind of big times Dom now, from the best of my knowledge, and he doesn't really bring anybody along with him. You know, he's just kind of his own little. And that's fine. It's his prerogative. I don't care, but it is what it is. Sean, next to the 5. Herbstreit never misses an opportunity to be a complete narcissistic tool. Yeah, and like I said, it's sad. He's got a platform, and he could be much better, but. It is what it is. Like, he has zero charisma. And it's like when he burns the Ohio State fan base, it's like that's the one that should, you know, love him, because he's literally the color guy on the lead show on ESPN every week, and he's on, you know, Amazon Prime. But he's just, you know, he has such thin skin that it's crazy to me. Nevada, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those things that it's never going to change. It's just kind of, I think we just got to look at it like somebody who was once part of the family that's just not anymore. And we can wish for how it was or whatever it is, but you know, I mean, Herbstreit's dead to me as far as I'm concerned. And he's just like any of the other media thing. He's just noise. And frankly, he's not even a good commentator. I'd rather listen to an alternate broadcast, and it's much more enjoyable than listening to him dribble on because he doesn't really say anything that's particularly interesting to me.
I honestly really liked AJ Hawk last night. Like I just kind of accidentally clicked on it on YouTube TV where it had like the Pat McAfee, and McAfee's, he is who he is. Like, he's a showman and he's annoying most of the time, but AJ was really good. So again, I love listening to AJ. I used to love listening when James Laurinaitis did color commentary. He was excellent, and he could obviously got into coaching, but yeah, really excited about that. One Bucks fan, thanks for the deuce. Roughing the passer was a terrible call. Yeah, it was. There's no two ways about it. I don't know what Kenyatta. And again, I've been pointed with my criticism of Kenyatta in terms of his production, but he was really good last night. I thought he was a force, and he did some really good stuff. And I don't know what you're supposed to do. What's the teaching point on a 6'7" quarterback that you're hitting, and the ball's in his hand as you're hitting him, and he throws it, and you land on him. Like, and again, it wasn't like it was something that looked like it hurt him, but just football. So again, that was horrific, and I wish that they'd edit that rule because the body contact on the quarterback thing it's tough. But again, I get the NFL, they have to keep their star quarterbacks healthy, so they do everything in their power to, and it's kind of just trickled down to college football because again, when you lose your quarterback, a lot of the cachet is gone. Like, you look at Georgia, it ain't looking too hot for them to win a title because their quarterback's hurt. So I get protecting the quarterback, but I think we've gone a little too far. Ravia Tube, thank you for the 5. If we get a transfer portal kicker, would they be able to play in the college football in January if they since they'd be rolled? No, the rosters are locked until the end of the tournament. There's no, you can't, because again, that would be the craziest thing of all time. Because if you're Oregon, you could go. They just signed Bear Alexander and the safety from Purdue and the tight end, and so the rosters are locked. I'm not sure what the rule is because I know that like some of these high school kids are enrolled early in December and they're practicing. Like David Sanders Jr. is doing some practicing with Tennessee already, so I don't know what the rule is there. But you can't add a portal guy to your playoff roster.
So can David Sanders play in the next round for Tennessee? Oh no, they lost. When I
buy that drum set and I expense it, you're gonna be like, Kirk, why did you buy this $60,000? Just like don't. I'll be like, when you hit that fadeaway 3-pointer, and you're just like, oh my god, this joke's gonna hit. You're like fading back, like, oh, it's gonna hit. It's got nothing but the bottom of the net. Larry Bird, Nevadabuck. Larry Daniels, thanks for being alternate. Thanks for the 5. Always appreciate the balance you and Nevada bring. From being on the inside, it makes a difference. You're not doing it for clicks. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we just try to give you as intelligent of a take on things as we can. Again, are we human? Yes. Can we miss? Like, were we off on the Michigan game? Yeah, everybody was. Like, nobody could have predicted that Michigan was going to beat us. So, but again, in general, we've been accurate because we've got great sources in the team. Like, I've never had better sources than I do right now. So, I mean, I have a pretty good feel about what's going to go on. So when I'm projecting stuff out and talking about it, there's good reasoning for it. So like I said, I'm just excited for this team, man. I'm excited for Ryan Day. What an opportunity to write. You can right so many wrongs by winning this Rose Bowl, and then you get to see Quinn Ewers. I mean, it's just like made for TV heaven right now, but I'm just excited for these guys. Nevada, your thoughts on us being fair and balanced?
Well, we try to be, and like you said, we don't get everything right. We try to give you guys. Sometimes we give you information that's kind of raw intelligence that we're just hearing. We try to vet it out as best we can, but appreciate you noticing our attempts to be fair and balanced, because we're not trying to be sensational. We're not trying to be overly positive or overly negative or carry anybody's water. I just try to treat the show like, what would I like to hear if I was a consumer? And that's really what Kirk and I try to do every single day. So thanks for that really nice compliment.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of people that don't understand football, and they don't understand really anything in life, and they like to fly off the deep end and take these crazy hot takes and burn everything to the ground and make everything a burn board. And and again, there is a segment of the quote unquote fan base that wants Ohio State to lose every week, so that then they can say that they told you so and should have fired Ryan Day, and remember who are the ones that were telling you that we should have fired Ryan. And again, like, I mean, and again, Ryan in his chair is going to be criticized, and we're very critical of Ryan at times. But again, there's a line where it becomes babble and it's no longer intelligent, and we don't like to go over that line. If we're going to be critical, it's going to be, we're going to give you the show our work. We're going to show you some film. We're going to talk about some things that he could fix. And to his credit, he fixed them, because again, he's got Chip Kelly and he's got Jim Knowles. He has two excellent coordinators and really strong staffs and an excellent roster, great strength coach. So I don't know, guys. I'm just really, really excited about this. This is going to be an amazing Christmas. I mean, it's like we have Christmas, New Year's Eve, and then we have the Rose Bowl. Like, this is going to be, what an amazing 11-day stretch. Good Lord. Tim Z, thanks for the 5. How many Tennessee fans were there? Feinbaum said that there were 30,000. Nevada, would you say like 25,000, 22,000? Use muted, homie.
22, 20, 27, 25. Yeah, it was somewhere around that. I mean, we knew it was going to be a good show. It wasn't as good as Tennessee fans thought it was going to be. We knew just the circumstances that it was going to be the biggest crowd. But it's funny because I think it had the exact reverse impact on the home fans, because the fans that were there, and if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. We were fired up. There was no way that Tennessee was going to take over that stadium, and this started long before the game, and when they came out and the whole thing, there was never a time when the Tennessee fans had control of that stadium. So they just they came in, they spent money in the local economy, and God bless them for doing that. And then they went home and took their L. So it was quite a show.
Well, like I said, I get it. Like, again, I told I was talking to one of my friends, Wes Satterfield, who I worked with at Ohio State. We were both grad assistants, and he came up to the game. He's from Tennessee, and he's like, "Man, they're about to be a ton of Vols fans here." And I was like, "Well, yeah, they've never been to the playoffs before. They've never played in the horseshoe before. So it's like, and the tickets aren't bad, because again, there's a part of our fan base that they're not excited until we get to the title game, because again, when we go to the dance every year, basically, like, it's expensive. So there's some people that sat this one out. They're going to go to the Rose Bowl or go to the next round or go to the title game. So it didn't surprise me that those guys could load the car up and drive up and have a bunch of fans here. So again, I like it. Like, I like when there's some excitement and some flavor. And that's the cool thing about these playoffs is you're going to force SEC schools to come north. And I think it's awesome. Like, I mean, I loved seeing Beaver Stadium in December and the Horseshoe in December. Like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to college football. I love the playoff. And it's just something that, again, the home playoff game at the Shoe is, it's just magical. Paul Lewis, thank you for the 300. My man, I appreciate you, my dude. Merry Christmas to you and yours. I bleed scarlet and gray. Yeah, I mean, we all do. That's why we're on here. I mean, again, we all want to support Ohio State. And like I said, I don't like using the word fans. I like to say supporters. You guys support the team. You guys root for the team. You guys buy the gear. You guys donate to the school. You guys tune into the games. You do your part. You guys tune into our show. But yeah, it's real easy to bleed scarlet and gray. And again, like I always tell people, I was like, look, I always wear the stuff the day after loss. I look like Brutus Buckeye the day after a loss. I wear all Ohio State stuff. I don't care what some moron Michigan. I mean, because no Michigan fan's gonna talk to me. They might talk to smaller people, but not me. But I love wearing the gear. Let the guys know that we're with them. Because again, I've got 2 degrees. I've got an All-American tree. I've got all these things, and so like it's real hard for me to just move off being loving Ohio State. So it's very difficult. So and I've also lost huge games. So again, I've seen people tuck tail and run after a loss, and I don't want to be one of those ever. I always want to support the guys. And again, for me, let's find the path forward. And again, will there be frustration, upset? Yes, but there's a line, and the guys, again, because you have to understand the people that watch the show, there's administrators, there's people in the Woody Hayes, there's the players watch the show, parents of the players watch the show. So it's, there's a lot of people that watch the show that they listen to what Nevada and I say, and they universally say, you guys are the best. And again, I'm not saying that's whatever, but it's true. They're just like, you guys are so fair, and you guys do the best job breaking things down, and you guys are always you guys' accuracy is crazy. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, because we put in more work than everybody combined at this point. I mean, we work almost 7 days a week, and take a few days off a month, but usually we're cranking, and we want our show to be good. So again, we appreciate you guys, and we bleed Scarlet and Gray, and we appreciate guys like you, Paul Lewis, who's Scoop Hall of Famer, first ballot. Appreciate you guys and what you guys do. Nevada, Paul Lewis, again, thank you for the 300, brother. That is 500 for the show. That is incredible. Thank you so much, my friend. He says, I bleed Scarlet and Gray. Nevada, your thoughts?
Yeah, Paul, you really do. And Paul, you're helping out some great service members, some great first responders. And I get to sign them up every day due to people like yourself. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're a great Buckeye and a great friend of the show. And we're really blessed to have met you.
Appreciate you, brother. Merry Christmas to you and your lady. No way. Thank you for the deuce. Can we disavow Herbie? He's taking a lot of heat right now. It's not a great look by him, but again, I think that he's digging his own grave with the fan base, and again, he's fine with it. Which again, it is what it is. But you can't let your son go to Michigan. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, again, if my kid had no scholarship offer, if his only offer is University of Michigan, then I just write the check and go to school. And again, you guys can say that I'm crazy, Kirk, you'd never do that, but my kid's not going to Michigan. Like, my wife Kim doesn't even buy my kids blue clothing because I get so angry. So she doesn't wear blue. I don't wear blue. So again, it's just kind of one of those visceral things. Like, I don't have blue markers in the house. Don't use blue pens. It's just like that. And again, I give credit to Jim Trussell, because Jim Trussell is the guy who made that a big thing in the Woody Hayes. Like, we don't wear blue. We don't have, we'd open up a new box of the grease board markers and we throw the blue one in the trash right away. But it's, that's just kind of how it is, and that was something that he instilled. And I'll never forget, man, when we were in the staff meeting room with Urban and, the guys were drawn, with the blue markers, Ed Warner and Tim Hinton, Notre Dame guys came over, and they're nothing but blue. And, I went over to the grease board and I threw the blue markers away. And I told him, I was like, we don't use blue pens around here. And Urban, had never thought about that. He's a Florida Gator, which I totally get. But he saw that and he the light bulb turned on. He loved that. I was like, we don't wear blue and we don't use blue pens. So I literally opened the box and I threw the blue marker away. And he was like, that's the greatest thing ever. So he was all in on that from there on out. So yeah, just a lifestyle. Nevada, can we disavow Kirk Herbstreit?
I think we are. I think we're doing it right now. I think we just all. He's dead to us. You're officially disavowed, but no, he did do it to himself, and it's not going to get better anytime soon.
No, Pooh Beard, you're the best, man. I swear to God, you're so hilarious. Thank you, Pooh Beard 12, for being an Ultra member, and thank you for the 10. For any UT fans still in Columbus, I recommend you take the scenic route home, east on 70, then down Route 81 through the beautiful Shenandoah River Valley and Blue Ridge Mountains of Western Virginia. Nevada. Pooh Beard is he's so elite when he comes up with the stuff, man. I appreciate you, my man.
He's elite and wrong. It's West Virginia, man. It's West Virginia.
Western Virginia.
West.
Colonial.
West. Oh man, Pooh Beard's he's on the list. Pooh Beard's on the list along with Herbie, man. I got my naughty list now is Herbie and Pooh Beard.
Pooh Beard is a gem, man. Oh my God. And Pooh Beard's the guy he crossed over into the dimension that is the message board on BuckeyeScoop.com.
Oh yeah.
And he brings the pain on there too, man. It's the best, dude. I appreciate you so much because I love the humor. Cordero Jackson, thanks for being on here every night. Appreciate you, my dude. Thanks for the 5. Dumb fans would say they would trade a win for win versus scum and a Big Ten title. No one cares about a conference championship. I always say, show me your conference championship. That's what I said. I said, okay, guys, show me your Big Ten title t-shirt that you bought. Show it to me. I mean, you go to Buckeye Corner and that stack of t-shirts is this high. There isn't a single one. Now, we get that natty merchandise. People are kicking the door in at 5 a.m. ready to kill each other. It's like Genghis Khan's hordes rolling in through there, buying everything that they can possibly put a national title logo on. So again, I literally won the Big Ten championship. I literally got the t-shirt in the locker room. Because again, in the glory days, like when I played, like when we would beat Michigan, we would get our Big Ten title shirt, like literally in the locker room with the Big Ten title trophy. And like after we won that game and we got the shirt, I never wore the shirt again, ever. like I didn't wear it around town. It wasn't like something like I literally wore it in the locker room. Then I took it off and probably threw it away because I don't even think it was a Nike shirt. I think it was like some off brand. So I didn't, but the Big Ten title doesn't mean anything. It never has, never will. The natty is what matters around here. Nevada, your thoughts. Cordell, I appreciate you. Says dumb fans would trade that win for a win versus that Tennessee win versus the team up north in the Big Ten title. No one cares. Again, I'm not trading places with Michigan. I don't care if you say, hey, you could say you beat Michigan and you get to go play in whatever irrelevant game that they're playing in against Alabama, or you could be us. You're playing in the Rose Bowl versus Oregon with a chance to win a national title. Like, I'm not trading that. I'm just not. And again, you guys can call me an idiot, but like I said, I've got 6 pairs of gold pants and I would meld them all together to get one national championship ring in a heartbeat. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, we actually did have a fan on our Buckeye Scoop at Gmail send us a picture of his Big Ten championship shirt. There is actually a Big Ten championship shirt that does exist out there, so that is kind of a little bit of a collector's item. But now, yeah, I love where we're sitting. I hated that day, that terrible day that we're not going to talk about anymore. But I love where we're sitting today. And as I said last week, I said Granny Nevada used to tell me sometimes the difference between a disaster and a miracle is just the passage of time. And that's where we're at right now. Passage of time, that disaster turned into a miracle. So let's go Bucks.
Difference between a disaster and a miracle is a couple throat lozenges. I can tell.
And some water. And some water.
And some water. Chief Garcia, thanks for the buck. Appreciate you, my dude. If you have a question, toss that in the chat. I'll try to find it. Appreciate you, my man. Bobby Mack, thank you for the deuce. Singing Carmen, Ohio at the end was amaze balls. Yeah, I mean, I love singing Carmen, Ohio, and I used to love singing it after. It's just a cool tradition that Trust started, and it'll never stop. I mean, we'll do that forever, and it's fun to sing it at the end after a big win like that. Jim Douchel, what's up, brother? My man, thanks for the 20. Appreciate you. And Jim is one of my best friends, man. He's a great guy. So he's figured out how to super chat. He's been saying, Kirk, get a show out of it. And I was like, I sent him a video. This is how you super chat. So atmosphere in the SKU was the most electric that I've ever seen. Chip opened this bag. Fry, it was really great seeing him celebrate with the guys after the last touchdown. Well deserved. Plenty of space left on the bandwagon. I mean, there are a lot of people that jumped off that bandwagon, man. I bought all the chairs. I'm laying across like multiple rows of the bandwagon at this point. But yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, Chip, I thought Chip was excellent. And, the bandwagon is starting to load back up. The most predictable thing of all time is that everybody that jumped off after Michigan is now jumping back on. So it is pretty funny. But I appreciate you, dude. You're the man. I'll see you this week. Chris Slusher, thanks for the 5. I'm playing Duck Hunt on Nintendo with a buckshot. Go Bucks. Yeah, I mean, I used to love Duck Hunt. Was a great game with the little light gun. Nevada, did you ever play Duck Hunt on Nintendo?
Yeah. That was a classic. That was one of the really good games back then.
Mm-hmm. Video games were amazing. Yeah, I love Duck Hunt. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you, my dude. Chief Garcia, thanks for the 5. What would your guys think if Marvin had said, oh God, if Marvin would say this year had played along JJ? That would have been filthy, obviously. I mean, that's something that never could have happened, but I don't know. I mean, I like how we are now, but yeah, if we'd had Marvin and JJ, I don't know if that would have ever been stopped, but it's, there's a lot of what ifs over the last 10 years of guys that took off early after 3 years and what could have been, but, it worked out fine. Like I'd take JJ over Marvin any day of the week. I think he's more physical. I think he's got a higher upside. Again, I'm taking JJ all day, every day over Marvin. But I love Marvin. If you had to stay together, Nevada, what could that have looked like?
Probably not that much different than what we have with Emeka and Carnell. There's only so many balls you can throw around. What I mean? But yeah, I loved what they're doing with JJ last night. They were moving him in the slot, which we've been calling for all year long, and moving them all over the field. And it was beautiful to watch. I mean, the offense was a symphony last night.
Well, yeah, if they're going to leave the middle of the field open and play 2 high safeties, like put JJ in the slot and tell him to run between the 2 of them. That's what the Patriots did with Randy Moss. I mean, Randy Moss was always an X. He was always out on the same side. And, obviously teams aren't ever going to let Randy go over the top. So The Patriots put him in the slot. They said, okay, we now try to guard him. He's going to run right down the pike against one of your safeties. He's going to eat your lunch. And it worked. So that's what I said. I said that last week. I was like, put him in the slot. Screw it. Buckeye, thanks. Buckeye 1, thanks for being an Ultra member. I hope this team can take the same energy and similar game plan to the Rose Bowl game against Oregon. Go Bucks, Nevada OH. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's no stopping these guys now. I think that they've unlocked it, and it'll be interesting to see what they change in the game plan from the last game. I'm actually going to watch the last Oregon game and kind of go through what the game plan could look like, so we could maybe do a little film breakdown of that tomorrow. Chop Chip Scoochie, what is up, my man? Thanks for the deuce. After that game, all Tennessee fans were yelling was SEC. Were they Nevada?
No, that was the Ohio State fans.
That was our fans. Yeah,
that was our fan. That was our fans taunting them with the SEC. I think Funky started the SEC chant. I mean, it was that was our fans taunting their fans with it. It was pretty trollific, to be honest with you.
It's got to be the greatest thing of all time. I love it. John Howland, thanks for the 5. Was listening to an Oregon podcast today, and they said they're excited to get OSU.
Oh, sure.
Good. I mean, that's not. I mean, you don't think they'd rather be playing Arizona State right now or Boise or it's like no, they got to play the best team in the tournament in their first game. So I don't know. And we got a lot of Buckeyes in California, so I think our people are going to be rolling deep to that one. Nevada, your thoughts? Do you think Oregon is excited to play Ohio State?
Well, I'm sure they're excited. They're not happy about it. Any of the is just whistling past the graveyard, because we are the last team that you don't want to play a team that you beat earlier in the year by 1 point at home. And let me tell you what, go watch, if you want to feel good about yourself, Ohio State fans, go watch the Big Ten championship game and watch how effortlessly Penn State moved the ball up and down the field against that Oregon defense. That Oregon defense is not very good. And our defense is way better than it's been. And our offense is going to move. It's way better than Penn State's offense. So I think I'm sure that they're really excited to play Ohio State. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, I agree. Survive the Hunt, thank you for the 5. Can we get that ACC refereeing crew every game? They miss calls, but we're totally even, in my opinion. We rarely get that. Go Bucks. Nevada, what's your thoughts on the officiating last night?
I agree. I thought that they missed calls, but they weren't the story. All I want is the refs not to be the story. Don't be the show. We're not there to see you. You don't have to be the story of the game. You don't need to take over the game. You don't need to make the big call. Or just stay out of the way. Let the kids control the game. And I thought for the most part they did that. So as bad as they were, I can live with that level of badness.
I totally agree. Josh Dillon, thank you for the 5. I called the score 42-10. It was off by 1 touchdown. We play like this rest of the playoffs. We are unstoppable. I totally agree. I don't think I was that much. I think I was like 29-4 or 28-14 or something like that, or 10 or 13. I can't remember what I said, but it was something like that, where I thought we'd win comfortably. Now 42, I mean, we put it on them pretty good. I thought we'd have a little bit more trouble with their front, because again, I thought that their front, and I still think that their front was excellent. So, but the way we neutralize them is credit to Chip Kelly and that offensive line, because they did a great job. But Tennessee's a good team. Like again, I'm not one of the guys like, oh, well, Tennessee's not good because we beat them. I was like, no, like I studied them. Their tailback was all SEC and SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and their one defensive end is going to go top 10. So they got good players, and we played great. So credit to Ryan Day for the plan. Josh Dillon, here we go, baby. You heard it here first, Scoop fam. Ohio State 42, Oregon 21. That sounds pretty tasty. That sounds pretty good. We will give us our predictions the Friday before the game, or the day before the game. We will do a show that does that. But yeah, put your predictions in the comments, your early predictions, and you have the right to change them. Josh, thanks to the 5. I appreciate you, brother, and I always love the Kucherov photo because he's a monster. Brutus B. Buckeye, thanks for the 5. God bless America and go Buckeyes, Nevada OH.
I-O.
And Brutus is in here, and that dog is absolutely adorable. I love it. Proof Buck, thank you for the 5. Glad to see backup QBs get a chance listening this week. Sad I can't be live. Merry Christmas, Kirk, Nevada, Buckeye Nation. Sorry, Prof Buck, not Proof Buck. I apologize. My fault. See, I always used to call Professor Plum Proof Plum on Clue, so I screwed that up. So I apologize, Prof Buck. I will get that right from here on out. Merry Christmas to you as well, Nevada. Would you like to wish our friend Prof Buck a very Merry Christmas?
Yes, Proof Buck. I mean, Prof. Yeah. Don't find out. But Merry Christmas, Prof Buck.
He's here all day.
Yeah. I'm going to be here all day and all night, man. I've been waiting since last night to broadcast, so we're going for the next 24 hours. Let's go.
Nevada has to go on his Carnival cruise ship so he can go do comedy on that after this. So he can keep his,
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Throat lozengers. The cruise ship comedian, Nevadabuck. Lisa Shear, thanks for the deuce. Savor this. You will lively infer. I had a great talk with Lisa the other day. It was great. She's a professor, so she was dropping knowledge on me pretty heavily. I appreciate you so much, Lisa. You're awesome. Thanks for being on here every day. Merry Christmas to you as well. Let's see. I get that a little covered up. All right. Skellies, thanks for the 5. Hope you're doing good, my friend. UTK fans were some of the most classless human beings in the entire college football. It made my night watching them parade out of the stadium like traffic cones. Yeah, I mean, I think that it always depends on who you're around or talking to. Again, I didn't go to the game, but I had some lunch at Twin Peaks, and it was filled with Vols fans, and I didn't talk to any of them, but they seemed like they're just sitting there and getting ready to go take their whooping. But Nevada, did you deal with any classless UT fans, and not any that were incited by Funky? Because I'm sure Funky was probably stirring them up a little bit.
Yeah, no, just the Cardinal Health fans. To the Cardinal Health fans, I'd say, hey, first of all, you didn't want to come over our way, because then we'd have to thrash you and cover you with hot cocoa. But now, other than the Cardinal Health fans who got upset about Funky going crazy, the Tennessee fans, the limited number of Tennessee fans I dealt with were pretty moderate. But admittedly, I didn't go out before the game, so I wasn't interacting. And I understand before the game they were very confident that they were going to win the game. And who wouldn't be? We coming off a game where we hadn't played our best game yet, coming off a bad game, and they caught the fury. So yeah, they did look like traffic cones going back. They were very prominent. Watching the little orange cones, just kind of a sea of orange just leaving the stadium. It was beautiful.
With the overalls on, it's the absolute best.
And I have to call out getting out of the stadium last night was a breeze. That was easy. I'm not kidding you. And I know some of it had to do with people leaving early, but the way they had the traffic coming out, you came out to the left, you didn't go across the bridge, you went straight, and you went right to whatever the freeway 315 or whatever that one was. Yeah. And boom, we were gone, and it was out in 10 minutes. Easy.
I love it. Daryl Mosby, thank you for the 5. Run it up, leave no doubt the rest of the playoffs. Letting Fielding Kick Show Day go for touchdowns and nothing less. The can is open. Time to take BTA. Yeah, I agree. Everyone loves the BTA. That's like the new thing all the kids say in Nevada. You know what BTA is, of course, right?
I thought, yes, of course. But I thought it said skadoosh or skirtish or squirtish. There's some other word that they're saying right now. Skirtish.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I used it on you twice today earlier when we were talking, just to throw it into conversation. It wasn't skadoosh. It was some other word. It's like skadoosh, but I threw it into you. My kids were going crazy because I threw it into the conversation twice with you, and you didn't respond. And I was just like working it into the conversation. I just randomly threw the word in there. You didn't notice?
No.
I want to show you how hip.
I always assume you have like some sort of a tick when you say some weird stuff. No.
I was just showing
your Tourette's are acting up.
No, I was how hip and contemporary I am. So I was like, skadoosh.
Oh my god,
skadoosh.
You do watch a lot of Family Guy, so I mean,
I'll
give you that. You know,
skadoosh.
My god, jumping the shark at what time is it? Is it midnight yet?
Skadoosh.
9. This is a good one. All right, Nevada, let's wrap this thing up. Huge show because you guys made it one. Nevada, any final thoughts?
No, a great night. To any of you fans that missed it, I'm sorry you missed it. You fans that were there, it was so great sharing it with you. You guys really showed up. Really, really, really made a difference, and it was a lot of fun being there. And I think it's just the beginning of a great run for the Buckeyes. So let's go.
Yeah, totally agree. As we roll into the Rose Bowl, if you want the best thing in the world to get you through Rose Bowl coverage, join BuckeyeScoop.com. Our website is always cracking, always live, always excellent. Would love for you guys to join the Scoop family and join BuckeyeScoop.com. Great Christmas gift. I know that it's getting close here, folks. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Early, we will be doing the show pretty much every day unless something comes up. But again, we are going to be anchored down, ready to go. We're just excited. What an incredible run we're about to go on. And no better place to be than Buckeye Scoop and BuckeyeScoop.com. So if you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, I appreciate all that you guys do. Again, I hope you guys are having a great Christmas season. This is like the best time of the year from really this Sunday until New Year's Eve. I mean, it's just a great little stretch of football and being with your families and being with the Scoop family. So again, I just appreciate you guys each and every night making this a huge show. It's a huge show because you make it one. We appreciate you guys so very much. If you guys want to do something awesome for us, greatest Christmas gift of all time that you can give Nevada and I is give us a follow on Apple Podcasts along with Spotify. We're trying to grow those and it's starting to work a little bit. So we're trying to get that caught up to our YouTube. But again, I just appreciate you guys so much for all that you guys do. So with that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. Talk to you guys tomorrow, 7:10 p.m. We'll be ready to roll right into Monday Night Football. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Again, enjoy the Christmas season. It's the best time of the year, but I appreciate you guys so very much. Love you guys to death. You guys have a great night. Go Bucks.